So, question number 10, if there was a single issue that would differentiate yourself from the other candidates, what would that issue be?
Um, well, I believe that mine is quite different probably from most of the other candidates because I'm talking about some uncomfortable things that people don't want to talk about or discuss. And I believe that we need to start having those conversations and discussing the hard things. Because I think that's the problem nowadays. We're not having those conversations, and each side is so wrapped up in their own beliefs that there's no agreeing to disagree anymore. Everything is so polarized, and that has to stop. We need to start having those conversations and working together collectively, because in the end, this is for the kids, and we all want the same thing. We all want the very best for these children, and we need to come together and start having them conversations. So yeah, I feel like I might have a bit of a different platform and a different view than other people, but that's what makes the world go round. Everybody is different, and that doesn't mean we can't get along and be respectful of each other. So yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to say it's the early intervention and literacy.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about that. I think I realize that not all schools are able to implement that. So I would love to see that in every school. I really, really would. Yeah, because it's paramount that children have that foundation, because that foundation affects everything thereafter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you very much.
Single issue. I don't know that I have one specific issue. I think that as far as myself as a candidate, I come with a fairly well-rounded perspective, that I don't really have, one single agenda or one top concern. Is that I want to do what's best for kids. And so ultimately having the opportunity to serve young people as well as teachers and families, that's what I'm all about. I really want to make sure that Grand Prairie is the strongest community that it can be, and that the district continues to propel and support students 100%. So that's the big thing for me.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Funding manual is a hot dumpster fire mess, and I will
advocate for that.
Put my stake on that, yeah.
Your role
Like
in that would be to advocate to the government, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm curious. I think the one thing that might set me apart is the fact that I think that all of the school boards should be backing the teachers right now, because the conditions of practice, that's section H, of what the different things that the different levels are allowed to negotiate on. So right now, the big factor is H, the conditions of practice. And when you look at the list of what a board is actually able to do, it is almost diddly squat. Everything is on the provincial level. So if we don't back the teachers and push for those, it almost doesn't matter what happens at the board level, because the funding won't be there.
No, that makes sense.
So are the other ones going to say that? I don't know, but I am.
But you are. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's challenging, because I am in alignment with many of the candidates' platform. There are several who I am not in alignment, and I think the biggest difference there would be that I actually support public education. I think public education should remain public. I think that, if properly funded, it is our best impact on kids. And I think that, I lost my train of thought.
Not just the public funding, and that your agreement with a lot of candidates, you were saying. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at what would differentiate you, if there was anything that really differentiates you from the others.
I do, like I said, there's a pot of people running. I think that, like I said, I am in alignment with many of the candidates and what they hope to achieve. I'm not hoping to come into the board and be a disruptor. I feel like the board has done reasonably well over the years. I think that they have been in a challenging position, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. I just want a voice at the table, right? I think I'm a pretty reasonable person. I think I'm pretty open to hearing people's concerns. I'm not there to drive my own personal agenda. And I think that actually might be one of the things that differentiates me from some of the other candidates.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
There's a lot of issues. There are a lot of them going on my head right now. A single issue that would
I think-
differentiate me.
If it would help at all, I would focus on the differentiate is what I think is most important in this.
Well, I'm not the only candidate coming from an education background. I might be the only candidate coming from an education background where I spent my first 18 years on reserves and Métis settlements, and I also worked for a tribal council. So I understand the First Nation component of schools as well as public schools. I guess for differentiation, what differentiates me from other candidates is I'm coming right out of the school system. I finished my job on the 25th of June and I put my name forward and here we are.
Okay.
So I have firsthand knowledge right now of what's going on in schools. That's not to say that others don't, but a lot of people haven't been in schools. A lot of people who sit on school boards don't go into schools when kids are there. They don't see that. And I would really like to encourage that. Go see what's going on because there's great things. But I think, I guess, to differentiate would be that I'm coming right out of the school system and into this. I don't have any time in between.
Yeah.
So I guess I would go there.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Experience and this is not a time to be humble, but it's experience and it's the knowledge you pick up over the years and the insights you pick up over the years, and it's having been inside the system and seeing things that go on and understanding what teachers are going through and some of the complaints they have and some of the situations that arise there, and then moving up to the 10,000 foot level and sort of looking at that in the context of everything else. I think that's helpful. The leadership roles that I played in the ATA, I think, are helpful to me. There's some very skilled, very knowledgeable people leading that association, and to have the opportunity to sit and listen to them time and time again, analyze what's going on, and tell you how it should be, and compare that to how it is very beneficial. And they bring in some high-powered people from all over the world, actually, and the opportunity to listen to those people and to get a feel on how education should be unfolding is really important. So I'm thankful to have had those opportunities, and I think that's one thing that differentiates me from somebody that's worked in the community all year and has kids through the system, and they're just really interested. I have to tell you, some of the board members we have now are very committed people, but they just, you also have to be able to read between the lines. You have to understand what's being said, but you have to also understand what's not being said from government and from other places. And having the experience I have, it gives me probably a leg up, and I'm able to hear what's not being said.
Right.
And that's helpful.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I guess I have been vocal in the community for the past few years, I guess since the COVID mandates, which I completely disagreed with all of them. So I was vocal with the schools and city council and in the community. So I have a group here in town, which we bring in a number of guest speakers, some controversial, some just health related. It's called the Holy Shift. And so some people in town have decided that we're a hate group, and that we are doing mean things that are racist, and I don't see that. Obviously, I mean, the people that come are just, loving, mostly Christians, but the doors are open to everybody who want to come in and have difficult conversations. So that's what we've been doing in the community, is having difficult conversations about government overreach mostly, and how we can kind of come together and support one another. So I forget the question now.
I guess the thing that would make you stand out from the other candidates, just when voters are trying to,
Okay.
remember who everybody is and.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I'm running on a platform that is unique in that one of the things that I want to do is start testing and monitoring EMF levels inside of the schools. And I get it, everyone has a cell phone and it's the normal right now, but
EMF, electromagnetic frequency.
yeah. And so the frequencies and the radiation that comes from all of the devices, all of the cell phones, I mean, schools, the St. Joe's and the Charles Spencer and the Comp, they've got 5G towers outside of their schools now. A second one is slated to be installed outside of St. Joe's, so now they're going to start clustering 5G towers. And so I think we need to take a step back and look at how this is affecting the health and safety of our children before we just start putting in more stuff, because if we're not careful, we could have some lasting effects on our children's ability to learn and their health and safety. So that is one thing. And my signs, once I put them out there, because I do have a number of people, a small group of people, I should say, that are against what I do in general, I suspect that my signs are going to be vandalized. So I'm waiting to put them out, but they are interesting. You'll see them when they come out.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of what I can say that wouldn't be repeating what I've said earlier. I would say if there's one thing that would probably differentiate me, it would be that I really want to improve some of the data collection that we're doing and also the data reporting and the communication that I talked about earlier. We collect a ton of data as a division. A lot of it isn't public. A lot of it is, like I mentioned before, we have a lot of resources online for parents, but there's also a lot of data that isn't available, that we don't share. And that can be for different reasons. Sometimes we worry that it could be taken out of context. Sometimes we worry that people could kind of jump to conclusions based on some of the things that they see. And it's very difficult to kind of manage the message on some of that. But that's something that I would really like to focus on, is trying to improve it. And this is something that I also wrote about recently online is, we've talked about class sizes, and, in general, I think class sizes are too big. It really frustrates me that as a province, we don't report on class sizes anymore. I mean, we have a class size report, which is okay. It has some high level statistics, but if you look across the province, there's no consistent reporting there. And that it makes me so frustrated as an engineer, because you can't manage what you can't measure. And the province makes multi-billion-dollar decisions about education funding without even knowing what the reality of class sizes are like, because boards aren't reporting them. So if there was a heavy point of advocacy that I would be hoping to, get the new board to support, it would be, trying to advocate for the province to reinstate those, and then seeing what other data points, what other useful data we can provide to parents to help in the assurance framework to help them regain or maintain confidence in our division.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I really appreciate the time and the effort in setting this up, because it certainly doesn't look trivial.
Oh, thank you.
It's not an issue, it's more an accountability, and that would be my experience. So, 4 years ago, I would tell you that I thought I knew a lot about the education system, because I had worked alongside my education colleagues for years. My late husband had been a trustee for 20 years. But when you're in it sort of feet first, and I wanted to get involved, and that it is sort of the same way I sort of live my life. So I tried to sit on as many committees as possible, try to understand sort of the system, sort of how it works. It exceeded my expectations. It is complex, but it is so worth it. And so whether it's me or any of the other sort of great candidates, and I'm sure they have sort of their experience, but I would tell you that it's my governance experience that would really, and my desire to make a difference. And I really believe you get out of your community what you put into it, and I'm invested.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Probably that I answered no to every ministerial order. Something that is substantially different. You know, I've been reading the other candidates' profiles, trying to get a good understanding. And yeah, I truly do believe we all want to do what's best, just have a different way of getting there.
Yeah.
I think I have a strong focus on supporting newcomers and French language supports, just because I wanted that from my children, and I think that they're incredibly lucky they had that as a choice. I think we all agree on mental health supports. I don't see anyone who's going to say any differently. You know what? I don't know what makes them different from me. And I'm kind of glad we don't have to stand up and debate each other, or it might be more clear that we feel differently.
Right.
I do know that some candidates have sort of taken a party approach, and some of the things that were listed on the flyer were different than my opinions, but that may be for candidates that were running for a city council, maybe not for the trustee position, because they didn't quite apply.
Right.
So I guess we'll find out as we keep on
Going.
talking.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No, I think you answered them all. Thank you.
I think the fact that I don't have a single issue. I don't have a axe to grind or a message that I feel needs to be shared in the system. I'm here to make the decisions that I think are the best for the division all the time, not for any other reason.